All right, so we have this division. We're in the mass. If you finished your mass, so if you go to finish mass, you need to make sure that you have picked the mass and you're editing in place so you can sort of pick these individual divisions. And we put these divisions on and gave separate 16 things. And so what I want to do is put columns on it now. So if I go to insert and load family, I can go get a 2-point tube. I gave this to you in your file, so you can also load it. I'm going to click on that and open it. Once I open it, if I go to my families, you'll see under generic models 2-point tube. And if I edit this guy, basically all it is 2 points that have a tube between them, and it has a radius on that tube, right? The other thing, maybe let's do this. I'll save this to yours. I'm going to put a material parameter on it. So just put tube material. Click OK. Click OK. All right. And I'll save that. And we'll load that into project and close. All right. And overwrite the existing version. So you've got this 2-point tube here. And if you pick it, and again, make sure you're in the mass. So the mass is open. You can drag it out, and if you pick one point and pick another point, it'll host itself to those little nodes that you made from the division. And then if you repeat it, so pick it and come up here to repeat, it'll repeat itself around. Now, if I go to my, let's change this to like 32, click OK, right? It'll actually, right, if you change the divisions, it'll update that. You can also pick the tube and edit the type, and if you don't want it to be a 6-inch tube, you could duplicate it, and I just want this to be a, if I want it to be a 4-inch tube, then I would make it a 2-inch 2-inch radius, right? You can be as explicit as you want, so 2-inch radius, and then come in here and just say 2 inches. And then you could change the tube material in here as well, and I'll just change it to parking stripe so it'll turn yellow. Okay, and click OK. So now, oh, and I can go to shaded and it'll show the yellow, right? So now I've got those tubes, right, in here. And I can do the same thing to the center one, right? So if I come in here and tab select, so I'm tapping my tab key till it selects, left click, and it keeps the red selection, and then hovering over the other one, tapping my tab key, holding down the control after it turns red and selecting it, dividing that path, and doing the same thing on the bottom. So tapping the tab key until I get that guy. This one seems to be interestingly in 4 parts, but let's see how it works. And right, and then well, it doesn't seem to want to divide this one, right? Like every time I pick it, it says create form. So let's go to our level 1. I wonder if we could just recreate it. Like if I come in and do an ellipse, and I go from center to there, right? And I'm going to make this a reference line. And maybe I'll do the same for the top one. But and then if I go to 3D, I've got that one. And if I divide that path and then pick that division and set a new parameter on that, call it division 2, right? Click OK and click OK. Then I can go to my family types, and I've got division 1 and division 2, and maybe this one's half the number. I don't know, right? So now I've got those guys, and then I can come in, and if I drag my 2-inch radius, you just have to make sure that you get it, you know, on the same, you know, that they're going on the same. I guess you could do it, but, and then you should be able to repeat that, right? And that one repeats. And if you don't want that one to be the same, you can always edit type, duplicate that, and make that like a 1-inch radius. Click OK. And one, and go to parking stripe, and maybe this is, I don't know, carbon steel. Okay. So now you've got those guys, right? Okay. So that's that. And then next thing, I'll make the beams on the top and the bottom, and then we'll put the glass in.